I had imagined my son's wedding 1,000 times, but never like this. The ballroom fell silent as I stood to congratulate him, holding a small gift I'd spent months saving for. Before I could reach the stage, my son, Ethan, looked straight at me and sighed into the microphone. "Dad, please sit down. You're embarrassing me." A few guests laughed. I froze. Then he smiled, almost as if he wanted everyone to hear the next words. "You're just a useless old man. You've never been anyone worth talking about." The room went completely still. I could feel hundreds of eyes on me. Some looked away. Others stared, waiting to see what I'd do. I lowered my head, smiled weakly, and quietly stepped back toward my table. At that moment, I wasn't thinking about the insult. I was wondering how the little boy I once carried on my shoulders had become a man who couldn't even bear to stand beside me. Have you ever had someone you loved make you feel like a stranger? If you have, you'll understand exactly what happened next, because what nobody in that ballroom knew was that Ethan wasn't the first person to underestimate me, and he had no idea that one unexpected guest was about to change his life forever. People assume humiliation happens in a single moment. It doesn't. It grows slowly, over years. After my wife, Linda, passed away from cancer 12 years earlier, Ethan changed. At first, it was grief. Then it became distance. Phone calls became shorter. Birthdays became forgotten. Family dinners became excuses. Whenever I offered help, he politely refused. "I've got it, Dad." Eventually, he stopped asking me to come at all. I told myself he was busy. That's what parents do. We protect our children, even from the truth. Then he got engaged to Claire. She was kind whenever we met, or at least kind enough when Ethan was around, but something always felt different when we were alone. She'd ask questions that weren't really questions. "So, what did you do before retirement?" I'd smile. "A little of this, a little of that." She'd nod, almost disappointed, as if she expected a better answer. I never corrected anyone, not because I was ashamed, because some chapters of life are easier to carry quietly. The wedding invitation arrived only 3 weeks before the ceremony. Not by phone, not in person, just an envelope in my mailbox. No handwritten note, no message, only a printed invitation with my name spelled incorrectly. Still, I bought a new suit, the first one in nearly 15 years. I skipped dinners for almost 2 months so I could afford Ethan's wedding gift. No parent wants to arrive empty-handed. When I walked into the ballroom that afternoon, I noticed something strange. Every table had family name cards, except mine. Mine had been placed alone, near the back, beside the kitchen doors, close enough to hear dishes clattering, too far away to hear the vows clearly. At first I thought it was a mistake. Then I saw Ethan glance toward my table. He noticed exactly where I was sitting, and he didn't say a word. That's when I realized it wasn't an accident. It was a decision. I should have walked away right then, but I didn't, because fathers keep hoping, even after hope has already left them. And just as I reached into my pocket to open the small gift I'd brought for my son, the ballroom doors slowly opened. Someone had arrived. Someone Ethan clearly wasn't expecting. Every conversation in the ballroom stopped. A tall man in a dark blue military uniform stepped inside. His chest was covered with ribbons and medals. No one recognized him, except the wedding planner. She rushed forward, clearly surprised. "Sir, we weren't told you'd be attending." He smiled politely. "I'm here for someone very important." My son glanced around the room. His face lit up. He straightened his tie and whispered to Claire, "Maybe he's here for one of your family's guests." The officer didn't answer anyone. Instead, he slowly scanned the room. His eyes finally stopped on me. For a second, neither of us moved. Then he began walking. Not toward the stage, not toward the bride, toward the lonely table in the back. The same table everyone had ignored. Guests started turning in their chairs. A quiet murmur spread across the ballroom. Who is he looking for? Does he know someone here? Ethan frowned. This doesn't make any sense. The officer stopped right beside my chair. I stood up, unsure why he was there. For a brief moment, he simply looked at me, almost like he was remembering something. Then, without saying a single word, he raised his hand and gave me a perfect military salute. The entire ballroom froze. You could hear glasses being set down. Even the musicians stopped playing. My son stared in disbelief. Dad? What is this? I looked at the officer. It's been a long time. He smiled. Far too long, sir. Claire's smile disappeared. People began whispering louder. Did he just call him, sir? Ethan laughed nervously. There has to be some mistake. The officer slowly turned toward him. His expression changed. Cold, calm, certain. There is no mistake. But before I explain who this man really is, he reached inside his jacket and carefully pulled out an old, worn envelope. I believe everyone here deserves to know the truth. The officer placed the old envelope on the nearest table. I've carried this for 18 years, he said quietly. No one asked me to bring it. I came because I owed this man a debt. The room fell silent. He opened the envelope and removed a faded photograph. It showed a much younger version of me, standing beside a group of soldiers. Then he looked at Ethan. You called him a useless old man. But years ago, he was the man who refused to leave us behind. No one spoke. The officer continued. Our convoy was trapped during a humanitarian mission overseas. Communication had failed. We believed we weren't getting out. Your father wasn't the highest-ranking man there. But when everyone else hesitated, he stepped forward. He stayed behind so the rest of us could escape. Several guests stared at me in disbelief. I lost contact with him for months, the officer said. When I finally found him again, he asked for one thing. Don't tell my family. I don't want my son growing up thinking war makes heroes. The officer paused. I honored that promise. Until today. He turned toward Ethan. Your father never wanted applause. He wanted you. Ethan's face turned pale. He looked at me, then at the wedding gift still resting beside my chair. It was still wrapped, still unopened. His voice shook. Dad, I didn't know. I smiled sadly. I know. You never asked. Tears filled his eyes. For the first time that day, he walked toward me, not because everyone was watching, because he finally understood. I'm sorry, he whispered. I spent years judging a life I never tried to understand. I hugged him, not because he deserved forgiveness, but because carrying anger any longer would only hurt us both. As the reception continued, the applause wasn't for medals, it wasn't for rank. It was for a father whose greatest achievement was never asking the world to notice him. Sometimes the strongest people are the ones who never tell their own story. Tell me, if you were Ethan, would you have been able to ask for forgiveness?